Hello, welcome to this discussion for week 4 of our promotion from ESSBIZTOOls, from compliance firm to virtual CFO services. I'm Peter Towers, the founder and managing director of ESSBIZTOOls. I hope that you're having a very enjoyable day. Over the last 3 weeks, we've reviewed the possible journey for accountancy or bookkeeping firms from being predominantly involved in the preparation of an annual set of accounts and a tax return and an annual set of accounts to offering a broad range of business advisory services to help your SME clients to survive and thrive in their industry. But before we go too far looking at the future and how you might be able to use all these services, I just wanted to do a flashback. Let's go back 44 years. In 1982, the Institute of Chartered Accountants and the Australian Society of CPAs, now called the CPAs, Australian Society of Accountants, my apologies, which is now called the CPAs, entered into an agreement with the University of New England at Armidale, New South Wales, for the formation of a special group within the university, which would be an organisation to present business advisory training courses to accountants servicing the SME market anywhere in Australia. This organisation was named the Financial Management Research Centre, FMRC, and it played a very important role in the development of services for accountants to offer to SMEs. This involved moving beyond tax returns and tax advice and audit work and delivering a broader range of services. This endeavour was led by Dr. Jeff Meredith, later Professor Jeff Meredith, who was then at the Southern Cross University at Lismore. And one of the key contributors was Andrew Geddes, who later became a well-known Australian accounting industry trainer. In fact, I believe the most outstanding trainer of accountants in Australia. And he also became a well-known public company director and was chair of a top 200 company on the ASX for over 10 years. That was Green Cross Limited. So the vision was very clear that FMRC promoted, and that was accountants would be the trusted advisor to SMEs. But let's look back as to what has happened since then. Intuit QuickBooks prepared the SMB Navigator Report 2025 and released it in September 2025. They reported they surveyed 500 SMEs, and the result was only 15 of the SMEs identified their accountant as supplying the highest level of services, which were termed key strategic partner. So this was quite a shock to a lot of people that the rating for accountants was so low. Only 15% performed at this level of service that SMEs were looking for. So after 40 years of service that started at the Financial Management Research Centre, the overall result from a major survey conducted on accountants and bookkeepers in Australia was that only 15%, according to the SMEs, the clients, judged that only 15% were supplying the type of services that they believe embraced advisory services. This is a real problem when we look at where our industry is headed. I firmly believe that the profession is moving forward and towards the virtual chief financial officer or virtual accountant's status, but there needs to be more thinking and planning to enable this to occur. Now, some of the services that you could provide include business planning, cash flow projections, budgeting and projected balance sheets, 52 weeks, business performance system, understanding directors' duties and responsibilities, advisory board input, and understanding questions that an SME might have that they'd like to ask you. And being able to answer those questions is very important. Costing exercises, the what if questions, I used to call them, because for a decade I was the chief financial officer and company secretary of a listed public company. And I used to get questions from the CEO and other members of the leadership team that I was a member of, obviously, but other people as well would ask questions. A lot of the questions were costing questions. We were a major Australian meat exporter. And so the questions could relate to, well, we're currently sending this meat to America, but we've had a question, can we send it to another market? But there's going to be a delay of about 3 weeks, and we're not sure what price we're going to get paid, and they want some changes made. So we'll supply you with a slicer in butchering terms. So he'll prepare the product the way they want it, but we want a costing exercise prepared. We want a yield analysis undertaken so that we can work out what is a minimum selling price we want to achieve from that revamped product that the market's interested in us supplying. So I had a costing officer, and we would go through the brief and we'd tidy it up, query it if we needed, and he would go off and work with one of the company's better slicers in a boning room and come back and produce the report. We'd photograph everything and we'd produce a report. Now, that's the sort of work that I suspect many of your SME clients would like to have undertaken, because that was the type of questions that were coming across my desk. Can you get a costing report done on this, please, Pete? Can you do this? Can you tell us what the changes would be? Not sitting there doing profit and loss accounts all day. And this is the service that I think SMEs badly need to be able to understand their businesses better. It's not just producing a set of financial accounts. It's the financial accounts together with the key performance indicators. So that we know they've been analysed, that variations are identified, so that action can be taken. Evaluating the product pricing that's one of your retail clients is proposing, looking at their projected volumes, doing the calculations and calculating for them whether they're going to earn enough gross profit to be able to pay for the overheads that have got to be funded, the expenses of the business, together obviously with their profit target. Is there enough being generated? ESSBIZTOOLS has a price calculator for retail businesses, which will assist you to undertake those types of evaluations with them, because they've got a multiplier of products, haven't they, in retail or wholesale businesses? And we need to get some understandings as to what they think they're going to sell at the various volumes so that calculations can be prepared. Now, this is real accounting work, helping your client generate enough revenue at the right rates so we get back to gross profit, so that it is going to cover their overheads that they haven't covered in the gross profit calculation, and they earn the targeted profit. So if the business set themselves a profit of $250,000, that's what we want to see at least is at the bottom line. If it's a wee bit higher, that's great. If it's too much higher, they may be able to discount their prices a bit, because you've got to be very careful. You don't go giving exercise to your clients that's going to price them out of the market. The competitors will have a field day. So that's some of the issues. Another very important one at present, though, of course, is with the change in the superannuation payment rules from the 1st of July this year. As you know, that superannuation has to be paid to the superannuation fund for each individual team member within 7 days of the payday. That's changing things quite significantly to what the payment options were previously. It raises the question, are SMEs going to have further cash flow problems to meet this new regime? What can you do about it? I think you should be proactive and talking to them and saying, do you want us to do some exercises, calculate for them what the amount of cash getting brought forward for payment is, and evaluating whether they've got enough in their cash flow, whether they need to get some temporary loans. If it's a big enough problem and it's probably combined with a few others, probably even looking at trying to raise some capital could be an option. But it's already the 24th of April, so if they want to do that, they'll have to and be ready for July 1. They'll have to get underway pretty quick, because it does take a few months to go through the process to be able to utilise crowdsourced funding equity raising. Another big issue is, what's the level of debtors and inventory? Can they be reduced? Are they following up their debtors? What are their debtors days outstanding? Can they be reduced? Because that could be some cash just sitting there. And do they have some surplus and unusable stock or plant and equipment or even old motor vehicles lying around that might be able to be sold to get them some cash? So some of your clients are going to be needing that type of assistance to assist in going forward from here, which I think they could really benefit by having your input on, so that they can follow everything through and understand where everything's going. So that's the guidance that I think they're going to need. So all this creates a great and significant opportunity for accounting firms to help your clients on this pathway going forward. And people who move into offering these services and working towards achieving the recognition of being a key strategic partner will strengthen your client relationships. You'll deliver higher value services, so you'll get paid more money. You'll generate increased revenue, and you'll be recognised as true advisors. And importantly, hopefully, your clients will classify you as a key strategic partner. And I think you should be asking your clients to vote on these choices at various times, so that you have an indication as to their feedback as to what type of services you are supplying to them. But this doesn't happen by chance. It requires systems to be implemented. It requires processes. It requires tools. It requires consistency of services. And that's where we come in at ESSBIZTOOLS, because we've developed the tools and resources. We've been developing these for 26 years. I followed on having been an attender at FMRC at the New England University, and understood what they were doing. They were not actually delivering tools. They were basically, their main date was to conduct training, and that's all they wanted to do. So we said, well, we'll start providing product packages to help accountants deliver these without having to sit down and write your own. I know some of the original attendees did write their own, but we also did that in our firm, and then created ESSBIZTOOLS to promote that service to people, so that you could see the benefit of using these systems. And we've raised for your consideration today, predictive accounting looks at a whole range of matters. That's the budgets. Please prepare budgets for each individual business operation. Don't do a consolidated budget. I don't like consolidated budgets, and I definitely don't like consolidated profit and loss accounts. If it's necessary for reporting processes and for the tax figures, you can consolidate at the end of the financial year, but it makes it a lot easier to manage the accounts, to analyse performance if they're prepared on their individual unit basis. The owner believes that they're an individual business. Prepare them as an individual business so that you can really monitor what's happening. What's the gross profit percentage? What's the labour to turnover percentage? What's the number of customers? What's the average sale? How do all those figures compare? That is the real accounting work, in giving your client real informed feedback as to what's happening within the business. Research and development systems. I'm a great fan of research and development. Over 7,000 SME companies participated in the research and development tax offset program in 2022-23. We haven't got the figures for any of the following years yet. Hopefully we'll be getting them soon. 7,000, 46% of the total number of firms in Australia that participated in research and development were small companies. So 7,000 businesses had the opportunity. I hear time and time again when I talk to SMEs and raise research and development, oh, we were going to do that, but our accountant told us it was a waste of time, or that they didn't understand it, or they don't do it. Please don't do that. Research and development's part of the Tax Act. If you've got a client that needs research and development undertaken, you can contact me. I'll do it on a consultancy basis for you to get them started. And if you want to give me one of your smart young accountants that you're trying to make a champion, we'll work together, because you need champions. You need to develop them. And part of this overall challenge that we talked about last week is giving your young accountants interesting and challenging work to perform. Otherwise, your prospects of employing and keeping people, especially once they've finished their admission to the institute or the CPAs, will be dramatically reduced, because they seek other alternatives to where they're going to work. So research and development, and it can be the opening gate to a whole range of interesting work, because the clients need to raise money, because most people get very short of funds when they're doing research and development, but they might be onto something fantastic. They'll need to raise capital. They do crowdsource funding or early stage innovation company. They meet the pretty strict criteria to be involved as an early stage innovation company. It can be very interesting and challenging work. They need business plans. They need the predictive accounting reports. They need to set their boards up properly and make sure there's reports coming in. And the CEO needs to be able to make presentations to potential investors like business angel groups, so that they're able to raise their capital. And none of that happens by chance. It all has to be planned, but it can be done. So the question for you is this: what role do you want to play in the future of your clients and also of the accounting profession? Because it goes together. Your clients are a very important process, part of the overall process. But what do you want to do? Do you want to help them navigate the uncertainty? And there's plenty of uncertainty at present, isn't there? A lot of challenges out there in the marketplace. What are you going to be able to do for your clients? Are you contacting them to see how they're going cash flow wise? There's been some articles in the press this week that banks are getting tougher to deal with, especially if someone's behind in their payments or their accounts out of whack, or suppliers being very upset about people trading outside the trading terms. Suppliers and banks are getting nervous about bad debts running up, so they're going to be tough to deal with. Perhaps you should get in first in talking to your clients. Do you need some assistance? Do you need us to do some other exercises for you to try to raise some other money, and go from there? So what we really believe that you can deliver is a key strategic partner service to your clients. That's the total package, as if you were the employed full-time accountant, you're running a virtual accounting, or if you're happy with the terminology, virtually CFO service to assist your clients. You're using the technology and the communication tools to be able to do that. So our commitment to you is we will assist accountants to be recognised by their clients as their key strategic partner. Within ESSBIZTOOLS, we have our AFTERS promise, which I just want to read to you now if I can. Our promise is to develop product packages, articles, videos, training to assist our members to deliver services to SMEs, which will be recognised by a majority of your clients as being delivered as a key strategic partner level, as defined in the Intuit QuickBooks SMB 2025 report. That's our pledge to our current subscribers, members, of course, and we make it very specifically to the firms that we're promoting our services to. That is what we want to achieve. We want the Australian accounting profession and bookkeeping profession to be able to deliver a higher level of service. We want to try to influence that anyone that's in our sphere of influence anyhow will achieve a significantly higher than a 15% rating from your clients. We think it should be well over 50%, hopefully even a lot higher. So hopefully that will be of benefit to you in your consideration. So you can explore the full ESS BizTools system by going to our website, www.essbiztools.com.au, and click on to packages and pricing, and then you can click onto the financial forecasting package, and you will see then that you can subscribe for 12 months at $220 per month, including GST, or you can take advantage of our special upfront discount. $2,199, including GST, will give you 12 months access to the packages. And we hope that our service will impress you enough that you will come back again the next year and for many years to come, because our commitment is to continue to write new material to keep up to date with what is happening in the marketplace so that you can deliver this outstanding range of services to your SME clients. So thank you very much for joining us for this video uptake of ESS BizTools in this 4th week of this special promotion, looking at the range of services which we are able to offer to help accountants and bookkeepers produce a wide range of services to help your SME clients survive, thrive, and if they wish, scale up their businesses to a significantly bigger one than the one they've got today. Stay safe. Have a great day. Goodbye. And I look forward to hearing from you. If you've got any questions, please send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, or telephone me on 0418 190 181. Goodbye.